Welcome back to my Final Fantasy XIV drama series. Today's drama story is about Get Out of the Picture. If you enjoy these kinds of videos, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Okay, everybody comfy? Everyone got their drinks? Everyone ready? Got your breakfast, coffee, tea? Oh my god, it's Fall Guys music. So, it doesn't suit the story. Let's begin. Vesper and I have been friends since we originally met in 2014 on Final Fantasy XI. We were so excited to start Final Fantasy XIV after hearing about the newest addition to the game, which at the time was Blue Mage. Okay, so they were like, hey, Blue Mage sounds cool. I want to play Final Fantasy XIV. Blue Mage was a huge part of our lives in Final Fantasy XI. So we were very eager to start out our new journey in Eorzea and finally close the chapter of Vana'diel. Ah, okay. So there's Blue Mage in 11 also. And we're actually getting like an alliance raid for Vana'diel coming up in the next Dawn Trail expansion. So that's going to be exciting. Vesper and I played Final Fantasy XIV for several months. Just the two of us. We pretty much did everything together. After 3 short months of playing, we ran into 2 Mikote characters while I was playing Bard in Gridania. We will call them Ava and Rory. I was performing Bard and playing Final Fantasy songs from previous games like Eyes on Me and Aerith's Theme and Xanarkand, which was Vesper's favorite. Ava and Rory sat and watched me for my entire performance. They clapped and cheered and genuinely seemed like really nice people. Vesper was also there, as she was always my biggest fan. After the performance, Ava offered me cookies and muffins she had made with her culinarian. I graciously took them and was surprised someone that I had just met could be so nice to me. A few days went by, and then Ava and Rory asked me if I would do a personal performance just for them. So I left Vesper at our small cottage to go and perform for them. However, I didn't tell Vesper that they only wanted it to be the 3 of us, so it didn't hurt her feelings. A week or so later, I decided to ask Ava and Rory if they could help me and Vesper run the Wanderer's Palace. They both seemed really excited about the idea and about finally meeting Vesper, even though she was standing there right by them during the performance in Gridania. Maybe they forgot or didn't notice she was there. So we all agreed to meet up at a certain time the next day. Vesper and I were online early because we were so excited that we were finally able to run a 4-player dungeon without having to look for players in the duty roulette. The time we had agreed upon came and went, but neither Ava or Rory were online. So Vesper and I went about our daily routine. Ava and Rory showed up online about 1 hour later than we had originally planned. They said they had some real-life things to take care of, and they apologized for the wait. We thought nothing of it and brushed it aside. We ran the dungeon and everything seemed fine. A few weeks went by and Vesper was online rearranging our small cottage while I was on vacation with a few friends for the summer. Ava knew this and decided to come over and visit Vesper while I was away. She cornered Vesper and asked her, "Are you and Theo dating? What is the deal between you two?" Long story short, Vesper and I are only friends, and we have been friends for a very long time. Vesper told Ava as much, and Ava replied, "Oh, I just assumed you were a couple because you do everything together." Ava looked around the cottage and then abruptly said it was late and she needed to log off for the night. Vesper and I had made plans one Sunday afternoon. We had planned to hang out together after she got home from having lunch with her parents. It was an early birthday lunch and they were celebrating her birthday together. After Vesper got home, she eagerly logged on to the game and she messaged me that she was home and able to play. We talked for a few minutes. Suddenly, Ava messages me stating she's lonely and depressed. I'm concerned about Ava's well-being, so I tell Vesper I'll be back in a few minutes. A few minutes turned into a few hours. I didn't realize I had been gone for so long until Vesper logged offline without a word. Oh, sheesh. That sucks because it's also Vesper's birthday, and she thought Theo, the OP, would hang out with her for that day on Final Fantasy XIV. But that ended up taking too long with Ava. That's unfortunate. Uh-oh. Yeah, like, your friend's gonna be disappointed in you. I quickly messaged her on Discord to see what was wrong. There was no response. And it wasn't until this point I realized I had forgotten that I told Vesper I would only be away for a few minutes. And I realized how excited she had been about playing together that Sunday. I actually felt so bad that I started to cry, realizing how much I had hurt Vesper. It was never my intention. Vesper was so kind that she quickly forgave me, and we made up, and we were right as rain. But yeah, I guess OP just like didn't realize that the time went by. Sounds like Ava really, I don't know, she must have did something to keep his time. We started to do a lot in game with Ava and Rory. We basically ran all of the dailies every day with them. We did guild hests, dungeons, leveling, trials, main scenario, raids, etc. At the time, it seemed so nice to have people you could do content with. It does feel really good when you're playing with a group of friends, for real. And like at the beginning, they only had each other, right? So OP was just with Vesper, and it was just always them two for probably the longest time. And now they have 2 extra people, so it's like good company. I even considered running the entire game with them. Vesper and I had certain things we did together on Sundays just for the 2 of us without Ava and Rory. We would farm treasure maps and find their hidden locations. We also did runs inside the Aquapolis. One day, I asked Vesper, "Should I tell them or do you want to?" Vesper asked, "What do you mean?" I told her I was considering asking them, Rory and Ava, if they would want to join us on our runs inside the Aquapolis and treasure map adventures we do. Vesper got quiet and didn't respond. I asked what was wrong and realized that she was right when she replied, "You invite them to everything we do. There is no time alone since they're always right there." So I scrapped the idea and instead decided that we could run Palace of the Dead with them instead, since it has 2 save files. Vesper and I had a save from the previous year. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't know that about Palace of the Dead because I don't do it, first of all. But yeah, you can have up to 2 save files. Okay. Well, that's good that OP decided that, you know, Vesper's right. Like, maybe Sunday is our time to spend together. And every other day sounds like they spend it with Ava and Rory as a group thing. Back to the story. Rory and Ava seemed really excited to join us for Palace of the Dead. We got inside and their demeanor completely changed. Ava's chats started to become aggressively rude. She told us to keep quiet because she doesn't want to know anything about the run since we already had done it without them, and how she wanted to learn it firsthand for herself. After a few floors, both Ava and Rory started to act aggressively towards us. They said they were ready to leave and wanted out immediately. We stepped outside and Ava started yelling at the both of us. They were mad because Vesper and I had a save file together that didn't involve them. Wait, why do they care? Maybe they really wanted to do everything together. When you meet 2 people who were already friends together who just happened to wanted to do content together, just the 2 of them, like, they shouldn't be mad at them. That's my input, at least. OP wanted 1 save file with him and Vesper and wanted the 2nd save file with all four of them, and that's completely fine. Ava and Rory should understand that. I asked them to join us a few weeks before we had ever stepped foot inside Palace of the Dead with them. Vesper and I picked up our old save and began playing it again. Ava saw on the lodestone that we had achievements from Palace of the Dead and was furious. Oh, it's like Ava wants to be told everything, so she feels left in the dark. I'm really trying to understand it, to why she would be pissed, but it's still weird to get pissed about that, right? We explained that it was an old save file we had together and we were continuing it. Ava yelled at us and told us that we were liars and said, "How is it old?" When I said I had proof of the achievements I received the previous year and could show her, she yelled that she didn't want to see it because she didn't care and continued on about how we were lying. We eventually made up and all seemed fine once again. Weird she'd get mad about that. A good while went by and eventually things seemed to be great. We were all friends and back at it again, running dungeons and such like any other day, as if nothing had happened. Vesper and I decided we were going to duo a dungeon together to learn blue mage spells. Ava more or less invited her way into our party, saying that she wanted to tag along. At one of the first bosses, some gear dropped, which turned out to be gear that both Vesper and Ava needed. Here's the catch. Vesper has only one character. Ava and Rory have around 30 characters each across different servers that they level equally. Huh? That's a lot of characters! How can you manage 30? Vesper had looted on the gear that dropped right as Ava typed into the chat that she needed it as well. While she may have needed it for the character she was on at the time, she was always claiming that she needed gear and would loot almost everything that dropped in dungeons we ran together. She looted on the gear after Vesper, but then Vesper won the role. Oh my god, she's gonna throw a fit, guys. Ava then proceeded to say that it was unfair since she had announced she needed it and Vesper stole it from her. I had to log off after the dungeon since it was the holidays and I had somewhere I needed to be. Ava contacted Vesper later that night and guilted her over the gear. Vesper felt guilty, so she ran the dungeon several times to try get the gear for Ava, but it would never drop. Yeah, sometimes it's just like that. You run it so many times and it just takes forever for another one to drop. So Ava came up with a proposition that Vesper could power level her blue mage from level 1 to 70. Whoa, okay, that sounds like a lot of work. I've never done blue mage, so like I don't know if that's fast or long. Vesper agreed because she wanted to make up with Ava over what had happened. Wait, for real? Just because she got an item in a loot roll, she agreed to help Ava level her blue mage from 1 to 70? Holy moly. She helped her achieve her goal of level 70, and that was that. Wow. Okay, well, Vesper is freaking so nice to do that. It isn't too bad. All right, okay. It's still nice of Vesper to do that just because she won a loot roll. Vesper had told me that things had gone on between the three of them while I was offline. She said they treated her differently and acted like she was a burden to their game. I always view things through rose-colored glasses, I guess, because I never noticed anything out of the ordinary. Hey, you know, that's pretty fair. You don't notice these things sometimes when it's not happening to you. So like, it seems like OP would be very busy trying to make sure everyone is good. He probably doesn't know like the deeper things. Like if Vesper is starting to feel left out, he probably won't notice certain things like that unless Vesper told him. I always view things through rose-colored glasses, I guess, because I never noticed anything out of the ordinary. I was happy that we finally had people in the game that we could do content with. People I thought we could call our friends. I was so naive that I never saw it at the time. I was too blind to realize they used Vesper to get things in the game they needed or wanted. They probably did that while OP was offline too. The first time I did notice though was when we all logged into the game to run some MSQ together. Ava asked, "Hey, what are you up to?" And I replied, "Hey, Vesper and I are running some MSQ together." Suddenly, Ava shows up right by us but says she's only there to do fates in the area. Out of all the zones in the game, she just so happened to be needing the fates in that particular zone itself. Although I found it odd, Vesper and I continued questing and doing our mission. It was getting late, so Vesper announced in our link shell, it was just the 4 of us in that link shell, that Vesper had to log off to go to bed. Ava then says, "Oh my god, Vesper, I didn't know you were online. Good night." Jesus. Ava was just there by Vesper and I. How did she not notice she was online? This was the first time I had noticed there was something wrong. After Vesper logged off, Ava ran over and asked me to team up together with her to do fates in the zone since Vesper is away and now offline. Damn, they really are, Rory and Ava probably really are treating Vesper as nothing compared to OP. There came a time when they added new wards with more housing, and Vesper and I were able to relocate and upgrade to a medium house. We finally upgraded our small cottage. We had been saving for a long time for it. Rory logs in and says to me, "Unfortunately, we don't have the luxury to upgrade our home like some do." All of their alts each own at least one small cottage, one apartment, and one private chamber. They also own one small FC house per server across 8 worlds. What? It sounds like they have a lot of houses. Why would they be mad just because their friends get a medium? Yeah, they don't need all that. That's a lot already. That's why it's like, who cares if your friends get a medium? You have so many small houses everywhere. I'm also a Twitch streamer. Both Rory and Ava visited my Twitch streams weekly. Ava jumped at the chance to become a voice actor in one of my projects I was running on my Twitch channel. Ava seemed so thrilled and excited to be part of something big. She did the first 2 streams just fine and all seemed great. Everyone seemed to love Ava. She was also part of our Discord, which is where we had our practice sessions weekly. On the 3rd stream, Ava didn't show. She posted in the Discord stating she was having drama with her family and it was bad. She seemed upset, like something terrible was happening or happened. Vesper, who regularly watches my streams, happened to be logged into Final Fantasy XIV at the time. She messaged me and said, "You'll never believe this. Ava and Rory are running dungeons in-game." Oh, so Ava said she was busy, but she's actually playing in a dungeon in the game, and OP thought otherwise. Ava showed up to the stream an hour late, apologizing. She said it was family drama that couldn't be avoided and how sorry she was for making us wait for her. She said next time to not wait for her and continue on. A week went by and the same thing happened again. Ava once again was an hour late to the stream. However, this time we didn't wait for her, just as she told us to do, and carried on without her. We had someone fill in for her instead. Ava was furious that we went on without her and someone else took over her role. She's a child. She's like a brat. Then a few months passed by and I was getting ready to go on a week-long vacation with my friends. Vesper doesn't really have many friends besides me, so I asked Ava and Rory if they could look out for Vesper while I was away on vacation. I knew at times they could be a bit much, but I figured if they cared about us as much as they claimed, they would have the heart to check in on Vesper at least while I was away. They agreed to check in on her and just make sure she was okay since she didn't have it easy at home. When I came back from vacation, I had asked Vesper what she did with Ava and Rory while I was away. Vesper said she didn't see them or hear from them at all while I was away. After I heard this from Vesper, I asked Ava why she didn't check in on Vesper as she had seemed so eager to do. She replied, "I didn't know how to contact her to check in on her." Ava and Vesper are friends on Discord, share a Discord server in the same link shell, and friends on Final Fantasy XIV. How could she not know how to contact Vesper? This didn't make sense to me. Ava would also at times message me on Discord asking if Vesper was okay. She claimed she would message her on Discord and that Vesper would avoid her messages and never reply back. So I asked Vesper about this on different occasions. Vesper always had proof that she did reply back to Ava, and it was Ava who was avoiding messages. Okay, so Ava's trying to paint this like, oh, I'm so pure and innocent. And then actually like Vesper is actually revealing to OP that, you know, Ava is not as angelic as you think she is. She's lying to you to make herself look good to you. After Halloween, I was once again in Gridania performing on my bard. This time, instead of Final Fantasy themed music, I'm playing Christmas music. There were several people watching and enjoying it as it was nearing Christmas Day. Vesper was there in her festive gear, eager to hear me play once again. We didn't mention to Ava and Rory that I would be playing songs that day, but somehow they just knew and they both showed up to the performance. Instead, this time, they were also on their bards. They didn't show up to watch the performance. They showed up to play alongside and try to play over top of my performance. And looking back, I realized that first night in Gridania when I met Ava and Rory, they didn't even acknowledge that Vesper was watching. They tried to push her to the back and walk over the top of her as she didn't exist at all. And how I was asked to perform a private performance just for them. It was all starting to make sense. It's all starting to make sense. They're attention seekers. But also, wait, how they found out they were just doing that? If you're friends with people, you can see the location of your friends. So they probably thought, oh, let's go and see what they're up to. And then that's so weird that they played music over their friends' music. That's like rude. They're fighting for the attention for sure. Over the next few months, I started receiving messages from Ava. She stated that some of our Discord members had been harassing her and Rory over the past few months. When I asked for proof so I could take action if needed, there was no proof other than her own word. It got to the point where she would say things like, "They go or I go." And some of these people are real life friends of mine I've known for over 20 years. At this point, I had only known Ava and Rory for 3 years. 3 years is a long time already. So like from the very beginning of the story was like 3 years ago that they've been playing together with Vesper, Ava, and Rory as a group. I'm really not one for confrontation and I'm a pretty easygoing guy most of the time. Vesper warned me that Ava had been trying to control me and push me away from everyone I cared about. I didn't see this because I once again was too blind to realize it was happening. It wasn't until Ava called Vesper one night on Discord. Ava seemed really distraught about something and like she needed a friend to talk to. So Vesper, being the kind and loving person she is, decided to hear her out. They played some games together on Steam while Vesper listened to what Ava had to say. It started out harmless, like Ava just needed a friend to talk to, but then Ava started slamming my friends and even my little sister. What the heck? Ava and Rory over time tried to push me away from everyone and everything I enjoy. They even tried to break the bond between my sister and I. Ava started sending me messages complaining about how my sister was a better artist than her. She stated how it wasn't fair and how my sister was a terrible person. Oh my god, you gotta drop that girl ASAP. She like dissing your family, your younger sister, your family member for no reason. Ava and Rory started causing fights and bickering with everyone in the Discord. They threatened to leave the Discord, but then they secretly messaged me that they were making a private server and that they wanted it to just be me and them there and no one else. They left the Discord in hopes I would follow them over to their new server. Once they realized I wasn't coming, they asked for us to invite them back to our Discord. We didn't invite them back. They said it was unfair since they were there since the birth of the Discord, but we blocked them. We blocked them everywhere. When we returned to the game, Rory had sent both I and Vesper a white flower in our mailbox. Ava had nothing to say to Vesper, but in my mail was everything I had ever crafted for Ava that was returned, and a message that read, "Give this to somebody else who deserves it more than me." I felt bad, but everyone told me it was just meant to be a guilt trip and a trap, and to just move on. Yeah, move on. Bye. Don't fall for that trap. I took a long break from the game after this experience. I recently have returned. I often catch myself looking over my shoulder and wondering if Ava and Rory are watching me. It wouldn't be so bad if I was only trying to avoid 1 or 2 people, but 60 different characters? At least I can say I am able to play again, and I'm glad to be back and part of the world of Eorzea. I'm going to be more cautious of who I befriend and let into my inner circle from now on. I'm still friends with Vesper, but the whole situation made us drift apart quite a bit, and that part is what saddens me the most. We still play and do stuff together, but it doesn't feel the same as it did before I met Ava and Rory. I hope to one day feel that same way again, when I was carefree and just enjoying life. The end. Hey, you know what? Maybe when this video goes up on YouTube and maybe OP can share it with Vesper, and then Vesper will be like, "Oh, that's so sweet." And maybe their friendship gets stronger again. Who knows? I can really tell through this writing that they really appreciate Vesper and they are sorry. And I'm sure they've told Vesper sorry, but maybe after Vesper sees this, it's like, oh, that's really nice to like that they learned, like after all those details that happened, they like the OP learned what was really going on. 3 years being friends with these with these people, and they put up with it for quite a while. OP thought they had some decent friends. Man, Vesper must have been through hell for those. That would have been hell for Vesper, like 3 years. But like Vesper tried to put up with that because their friend was friends with them. Vesper was like, shit, my friend's friends with these people. What can I do? You know, like Vesper obviously didn't want to lose her friendship with OP. So she just like stuck it out, I guess. Vesper had the patience of a saint. Yeah, because like at any moment she could have just ran to her OP, which is her, you know, friend. She's closer to OP than Ava and Rory, and she could have said all these bad things. But based on the story and from what OP has said, like she only mentioned when OP asked. He's like, hey, what happened? Did Ava contact you? And she's like, no. But like technically Vesper could have ranted, complained, and been like, can we just not play with them? Stood her ground and stuff like that. But it just, she seemed just patient. Sounded like she was patient the whole time. Sometimes drama do be like that. Like it's just these people who are sort of like messing around. It did seem like Ava and Rory were just attention seekers, and it's weird how they were trying to like steal OP from Vesper. Like it was a game to them. Remember that part where Ava was like, so are you guys dating? I think Ava was hoping that OP was dating Vesper, or that Vesper liked OP, because it seemed like she was trying to steal OP from Vesper. She's like, haha, watch this, Rory. I can totally take OP away from this Vesper chick. Like it just, that's the vibe I got. And then it was unsuccessful. And then she even tried to pull the pity card at the end, like, give this to someone who deserves it more. And it just didn't work. Is there anything else I want? Rory is the freaking sidekick of this story. He's just Ava's sidekick. He's a follower. Yeah, he didn't have a part other than just being friends with Ava and just following her around. What if Rory actually likes Ava? What if they're dating? I don't know. Maybe. Do you think he had a thing for Ava? That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, Rory was the pet, maybe liked Ava, would do anything Ava would say, probably. Wonder what Rory's side of the story would be. Imagine if he wrote in. It would be like, it started off as he met Ava, and Ava did the same games with him, became friends with Ava. Then he realized Ava was a bitch, and then he had a falling out with Ava eventually. Or it just seems like Ava is just bouncing around from like whatever entertains her. She probably will get bored with Rory. Who knows? Let me know in the comments below what you thought about this Final Fantasy XIV drama story. If you have any of your own drama stories that you'd like me to share and read out anonymously, feel free to reach out to my Discord, discord.gg/Pathra.